Hey, I'm Birdman.
I'm Bruce.
Time to get on target at
The Hub. Here we are.
Yeah.
See, this is kind of like Christmas all over because it started 2 years ago with the Year of the Revolver.
2 years
Shot
ago, the Year of the Revolver and the Colt.
Took a while. They started coming out.
It's the Python, right?
Yeah, this is the Python. As compared to the one we had came out this last year, which was Cobra. King Cobra.
Python. So anyways, here it is, and you saw up front that it now has
Sights.
So you had to, of course, you could have sent it in.
There's two options we could have done. Send it in, but then I always have these things about sending packages because if you've seen the way some of our packages are coming today, they come all crushed up. It says fragile, and they're crushed in half.
So customer service isn't what it used to be.
Well, I was really more down on them into this last week, and I'm just going to kind of tell you what happened this last. First off, it took about a week. They sent it FedEx. They said it'd be here last Friday. It was.
Okay.
The pin that holds this front sight was smaller than the pins I had, so I had to wait a day or so to get the pin. So we put these in.
Drift for it, to drive
for the
a punch.
roll pin. So I didn't do that until yesterday, and then I don't know if the sight's set right, so I just put it on. And then the front one's got another. So there's a picture you probably show of our parts. Are you going to show the picture of the parts?
So yeah, we'll show the parts. But so what was there when you called them? What was the reaction?
I actually Amy called them and there wasn't much reaction. It was just like a person on the phone trying to be helpful, get the names and serial numbers and all this stuff and start the process, which seems strange. But then you look at what's going on nowadays. So the other day I was off for a couple of days doing a bunch of stuff, and I had to call the cellular. I'm not going to give names of all these people.
Right.
But you know, half of them don't even have any phones right now. They have an answer and say, "I'm sorry, due to the current problems, everything is email only, or if we don't get back to you for a week, we're sorry." And these are companies you're paying hundreds of dollars a month to in your service.
I don't understand what's going on.
It did a lot. So knowing that, it did come. We could have sent it back. I was more worried if we sent it back, it would be damaged. And then I wanted to see the process of us putting them on. And it did come with, how many parts were there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6 parts just for the sights.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't really.
Let's show them shoot it. So obviously the sight's not too bad.
No, and I wanted to get into the shooting of it because the sights weren't off that bad. It was more me. And I think, and of course it's never been shot before, except a few minutes ago. Whenever that last
the first time we did it was a couple weeks ago.
But we didn't shoot it.
Yeah.
We didn't have any sights.
You did shoot it, I thought.
No, we didn't shoot this.
Oh, okay.
Couldn't without sights. No, we could have maybe, but we didn't.
Yeah.
So that's the first time. I could see people having some issues with this because the trigger is too light in a way. You don't know when it's breaking a little bit, and maybe you short stroke the trigger a little bit, because I understand some people did that.
Right.
Which I can understand after shooting this. And secondly, I didn't know when it was going to go off. It's so buttery smooth. I mean, I'm so used to revolvers that we shoot.
But that should surprise you, right?
Well, it just surprised me the first time you shoot it.
Right.
I think I've never felt anything like this.
Okay.
I've had premium revolvers before, and I don't want to age myself or age you. And this is my story. I had a Python. My last one was about 35 years ago. And if we look at costs on these, because this is part of our evaluation today,
right?
They're $1,500 basically for this gun. Back then, the Electrolux nickel 6-inch one that I had cost $400.
Right.
But also back those days, a nice car was $4,000. So cars have went up almost 10 times.
Yeah.
And this has went up, what? Not 3 times. Well, 3.5 times, 4 times. So you look at that and you're going, okay, it's an expensive revolver at $1,500.
Right.
But then you got to look at what the competition is. Okay. So I have that new Dan Wesson made by CZ. You know, they make that is a fantastic revolver. But that's a $1,500 revolver, also. Then you look at, so what's better than this, if there is? And I haven't shot one in such a long time. I don't know. I don't remember. But Korth, and now they're working with what's that, Nighthawk, I think.
Yeah.
And actually, Michael's got some in the Tucson store. But those are, I think they start around $3,000, and yes, that was right. They start about $3,000. I think they go to almost 6.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and they're buttery smooth and very
almost
well made.
what a car was worth back when he was
5
years
what
ago.
a car was worth. back when their cars were just born. Is that what you're trying to say? No, that was before my time. We did have.
Did you have the Flintstone one where you had to use your feet to get it moving? Or?
I think you're upset because I bought my first Camaro for $2,497.
I'm not upset that you owned a Camaro. That's
no, because
fitting.
it's so cheap back then. Anyway, so getting back to this real quick, I think we got to put it in perspective. There's another thing about this, and unless you were a collector of something, maybe watches, maybe you like fine things made well. It's hard for me to think of spending a couple grand on a Omega Seamaster.
Right.
They're beautiful watches. I've had them before. But some people say $2,000 for a watch, and then they'll look at a Rolex. And I remember when they were 4,000, and now what are they, 8,000 or 10,000?
Oh yeah, and then
and that's not the fancy.
Some of the older ones that are worth a ton.
But some people look at those and they think there's value in what it is. So if you look at this, and I've had a lot of revolvers. You've had revolvers. We look at revolvers. We shoot revolvers. I'm not sure if there's a better looking gun than this.
It's pretty sexy.
That
I like my Smith & Wesson, but yeah,
this has got a look to it, and that's what's kind of built everything about it. Is it worth the difference? That depends on how much you want a quality piece.
Right.
I think you got to get used to this, and we're definitely get it cleaned up and shoot it and see how it shoots. But it's a beautiful gun.
Very cool.
So, and that's after the first problem we had. So let's rate it real quick. So this is going to be what the hell, but what the H cut 2, but you have a different name for it, so we'll just say. Anyways, cut 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Category representation. We just talked about why you have to look at this differently. It's an A. Manufacturing history. I only give it a minus because you have to look at some of the problems that Colt had with bankruptcies with the M16s at the time,
right,
for the military contracts. But they've made some unbelievable guns. Okay. Intuitive safe handling, of course, is a double action revolver. Gets an A. Carry options. We usually give B only because they're larger. The holster. There's still a lot of holsters for it. Function, perfect. Feel. There's nothing I felt ever like that. Well, the real high-end revolvers. Cost. Give it a B with an explanation, and I think we already explained why it's so expensive. Beautiful. I mean, it's just made. As you can tell when you open it and close it, you feel that quality.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't explain. There used to be, you'd explain that with like a Rolls-Royce door or a BMW. Remember when our cars, like our Camaros and stuff, would close and they'd chang kind of?
Right.
And you closed a Beamer and it went
chunk.
That's what this is.
Okay.
The build quality. Shootability, I mean, that's the first time I shot it. It seems like, I know it shoots a lot better than I can, but I'll have a chance to play with it some more. I'm going to give it an A.
Obviously, it shoots really great without sights. Well,
yes.
if they tested it. I'm not sure they tested it.
And here's the other, it's funny since we talked about that, how could that possibly happen without the sights? And we still haven't figured that out. But we just got in the first time. Remember we talked about, I'm going to say Charter Arms.
So you say you don't know how it happens, but it happens because nobody obviously checks over the gun.
And it comes at a time when the gun business was hurting, and all of a sudden it went crazy. Maybe they had people that were sick. I'm not a fanboy. I'm going to let them explain their own self. But if you think about, we just got a Charter Arm. We've always liked Charter Arms. They're rough, but they always work.
Right.
And I've never ever seen one not work. One come out of the box the other day, and we were putting up, Steve and I, and Steve helped me put these sights on. Right. Oh, I didn't tell everybody that's a two-man job.
Oh yeah, two-man job.
Yeah. So probably most people sent it back. But we brought this Charter Arms out, and the action wouldn't work. You couldn't cock it.
Oh, really?
Out of the box, out of the plastic box. So I've never seen one of those ever happen because we've always said, what do you think of these? I said, well, at least they work 100%. They're a little bit rough, but they're very inexpensive compared to this other stuff. So I want to give them a pass completely. I'd like to find out a little bit more about it, but I'm really happy at the moment.
Okay.
So A with an explanation for the overall view. Of course, that comes from a person that's kind of prejudiced towards the year of the revolver. But actually, we should say the years, the last two.
You had a lot vested before you even got the gun into this whole thing. So
we did. And then
you did. I didn't.
I had to have one of these, right?
Right.
And I had to have that Tavor shotgun.
There you go. So
am I done now this year?
Did we shoot the Tavor? We shot the Tavor.
Yeah.
That's right. We shot the Tavor.
Yep.
We're back to lead. That's right.
Yeah, but do I? Is that it for me? That's it? Is this my bucket list or what?
Maybe. I don't know.
We'll say goodbye and thank you for everybody.
Okay.
But anyway, it was great.
Good. Awesome. So finally put that, so, let us know what you think. I mean, I've heard a lot of comments like, it's like buying a car with a sunroof and the sunroof isn't there. Buying a car and the windows aren't there. How would you react? So I'd love to see the comments back on this specifically to see, what do you think's acceptable and what do you think Colt should do, or do you feel like it even threatens you? Is it just a sign of the times and things that's going on? So,
I think they get a slight break for this one thing. Compared to these other guns we just talked about.
Right.
This is the finest revolver on the market today, besides those other ones that are $4 and $5 grand. And then the Charter Arms would say, I mean, not the Charter Arms, the Dan Wesson, quality build, unbelievable on their new one.
Phenomenal.
It's $1,500 or $1,600, which is about the same price, but it doesn't have this aesthetics, because sometimes you have to have the feel.
Cool.
And this has a little bit better feel. I don't think it's a better gun, but.
So let us know what you think, and check out thehubaz.com, also Facebook and the Instagram. I'm Birdman.
And I'm Bruce, and be safe. I think I'm ready. Thank you. Do we have any, we don't have to have any answers right now, or we'll give that later. Thank you for subscribing.
Thanks for subscribing.